continue that, it will give him, I think, another contract.
So McAvoy and Goldstein, the final game of round 15 underway. And Goldstein with the initial palm down. Play on advantage. Rawlings long to Petrie, who's on the move. Dawson
Offload.
got a toe in the way. Adams had travelled 15.
It was a great start by Goldstein.
To the square. Petrie, huge leap. Just didn't bring it down. Guelph with the crumb. That would have been an outstanding start. Pete gives it wide. Stephen short. Poor start.
We're only just saying, Spud, just how good this bloke looked in his warm-up. He's on top of the ground. He's bubbly. He's buoyant. And nearly took a hanger to compete with the best this year.
We could see that Sam Fisher already is trying to double team Petrie in front of his space.
Thompson. Pedersen might get the jump this time. Edged out of it. Back of the pack. Dawson content to run it over and might get a free here. Foolish from Lindsay Thomas.
Frito running with Brendan Goddard at the present time. They wanted to have somebody else to help out Nick Rewald. Well, that looks as if it's going to be Brendan Goddard.
No free, so good news for North fans. And there's been a little bit of talk about the acting component from players in the last couple of weeks as well. The umpire's not going to be fooled by players taking a dive to the deck. Some boos for Milne, he'd expect that. And Jones. Thompson, front spot, but Goddard was dumped.
Yeah, but Thompson's a free man for North in front of Rewald.
Rewald poleaxed Goddard.
Back into the team this week, Scott McMahon, after missing a week for the birth of his child last week. Pedersen, #1 assist man in the comp last week.
Sean Dempster running with Boomer Harvey for a different look.
He's really grown into a player, Pedersen. Spears that to Edwards, couldn't take the mark. Ball in.
Now look at Rewald here. Thompson in front there. He does get Goddard in the back there. Goddard looking for the free, but it was his own teammate.
Jack Stephen running with Swallow.
Goldstein down. Wells. Mann. Edwards. Too far out to score.
Well, Petrie's got 2-on-1. Fisher and Dawson.
He leads to the pocket, and there's Fisher. Dawson held him up. Fisher took the mark.
And that's good play because he's been in outstanding form, Petrie.
Gilbert in game 100. He put Dempster under the hammer. Just about gone there. Got it up just in time. Crowd thought, at least the North Melbourne portion of it at that end, thought it could have been a free peak. Back pocket.
Well, there has been the change, but as we thought before the match, Clint Jones is gone on to Daniel Wells, which is reflective of just how damaging he's been.
Hanson gets a touch on Rewalt. Wells goes back. Reimer. Wells, fantastic. Tumbling kick, tough one to mark. Dempster made it his. Now Brook can get and go. He's got one-on-ones ahead. Just depends on which one he picks. Dalsano might be the one. Gets away from Zeeble. Kick was poor. He had a couple of metres. Kick needed to be better than that. Pratt. Adams just waited for the crumb. Pedersen knocked it down to him. Bastanak over the top to Pedersen. Short. Wobbles it to Petrie. Gathered. Thought about giving. Does give in the end. Thomas dumped. Almost after he got the handball away. Harvey from 45. Centering kick. Hot spot. McAvoy. Well worked.
It was well read. McAvoy on Goldstein. Goldstein trying to make McAvoy play as a defender, but he had none of that. That's great play from the St Kilda ruckman.
Speaking of defence, St Kilda are holding it really well at the moment. They've been under siege for the first 6 or 7 minutes.
And it's 5 inside 50s, Jared, to North Melbourne. St Kilda haven't got it over the halfway mark yet.
Oh. That's 50 against Goldstein. So they might get it over halfway here. 5 inside 50s for no score so far for North Melbourne.
What I've seen early, Jared, St Kilda do not want Drew Petrie to have an impact early.
That's a spear to Milne, and he got down. You'd think the boos would inspire him, Stephen Milne. He cops it every week, but he provides most weeks.
Here's the 50. Peak goes backwards. And Goldstein comes over the mark. She's been hot on that this weekend.
Never kicked a big number against North Melbourne, Stephen Milne. From just outside 50, he drives that magnificently. One inside 50, one goal.
As is always the way, or often the way, Spud, the Kangaroos have attacked really well. They've gone inside. They've nearly taken mark of the year in gold. Boomer Harvey went to the top of the square, but they have just defended really well, the Saints. And then on the counter-attack, first time in, Stephen Milne doesn't let them down. Daniel Pratt brought into the side to take care of business against Stephen Milne. He's done it before.
It's amazing. The last month, the Kangaroos, they're ranked 1 for scoring efficiency inside their forward 50. And I think it's good coaching from Ross Lyon early, knowing that Petrie took 6 contested marks inside their forward 50. So they're going to have to look for other avenues, North Melbourne, at the minute.
McAvoy and Goldstein go at it again. Gang tackle laid. Polo going nowhere.
Rawlings running with Montagna as well. Probably they're the 4 key one-on-one matchups.
Peak to Ray. Bangs it to half forward. Gambles the target. And gathers it off Grimer. Shrugs a tackle. Spins. Kicks. Rebound. He's in a good spot. Can't mark it. Milne. Back at the pack. Dragged down. Didn't have it. Free kick. Milne. Don't play on Riot, please.
Beautiful play. Beautifully called, Dwayne. Stephen Milne, it's important that all the focus on Riewoldt, and all of a sudden Milne's lining up for his second goal inside 5 minutes.
What was really noticeable there, Spud, was Riewoldt cleared the forward line out and went really deep, which I think we talked about before the game, and allowed some space there for Milne to run into.
Well, I'm not sure why Ferrito was actually grabbing him. He didn't have the ball was at his feet.
Well, Daniel Pratt started on Milne, so he lost Daniel Pratt in traffic. That's the danger of Milne.
To the booze again, and dare we say it, 2 inside 50s, 2 goals.
Great start for St Kilda. You just see, you're right, Jared. Milne hadn't taken possession of the ball at all, and Ferrito just hell-bent on tackling him. And that's the beauty of Stephen Milne. He knew there was body pressure on him, so he wasn't going to take possession of the ball at all. But you see Daniel Pratt, so it's obviously in transition that Daniel Pratt's lost Stephen Milne, and that's a tough start for Daniel Pratt.
It's a fair call, your instruction to Nick Riewoldt, Dwayne, because it did look as if he was intent on getting hold of the ball.
Well, if he soccers it off the ground, that's play on. And to his disadvantage. But he got away with it because he missed it twice.
Well, the difference between the two sides, ball use, 89% by foot St Kilda, 58 North Melbourne early.
Peak. And he's in the peak of form. Heads wide, Gamble got there first. Grimer with him, but Gamble front spot. Got a handball out, missed Polo. Zeeble, fumble, knocks it on. Ray spears it back inside 50. Riewoldt on the move. Trying to slick handball up to Lynch, missed him.
Well played for Rito, really good anticipation.
Thompson, Hanson, Grimer, Ray. Peak. Pops it. Goddard. Central kick. And Riewoldt again.
Brilliant play, Saints.
It's good. It's another turnover from North. Pickers was absolutely spot on. 54%. St Kilda, they've had 22 kicks. They're going 91%. The league average is about 65. So they are on fire with their ball use at the moment, the Saints. Beautiful lead. No defender in the competition can stop that kick.
That was a good kick as well. They've stacked their forward line with talent. Del Sano was down there. Goddard was down there. Montagna down there.
Which Nick Riewoldt are we going to get today? Hasn't been in good nick. Pratt. Hanson, so back into the team. After playing most of this year as a forward, to play as a defender on Riewoldt. That's a good grab with the fly. Pedersen, Goldstein, McKinley just on off the bench. Harvey crunched. No room to move.
Good
Ray,
person, Kilda.
Jones. Here they go again. Schneider. Lynch. Riewoldt. They're turning back the clock.
The pressures are first class at the moment.
Reebok kicking lets him down again. Farito.
I just saw Pedersen take a mark, Spud. He's the reason I think they've now gone to Lockie Hansen as a full back, trying to find a player, because Pedersen's doing his job up forward. But if they can get a genuine A-grade full back out of Lockie Hansen, then they are going to look a different team.
Graham. Chipped it. Lynch. Short. Milne.
And again, Pickers, you were there. They're just the high kicking hope from North out of the back half, just playing to St Kilda's press.
Absolutely, and Pedersen gave away a silly free kick there. He had Goldstein basically would have marked it uncontested if he didn't give away the free kick. Not liking this matchup either.
Well, they're going to have to make a change, I think, Liam. This will be 3 goals in 7 minutes of play.
I'd go to McMahon straight away. It just doesn't look right, this one.
From the pocket. He gets onto it. It's across the face. Behind.
Ball's been coming in there pretty quickly, though. It's pretty tough when you first 4 or 5 minutes. You know, I think you just let it settle just for a moment, just to see if the midfield can take some pressure away.
Rawlings long to the spot they've been going to here in North Melbourne from the kick-ins, that back flank. Lynch again. Del Santo had to wait for it. Schneider, a 4-metre kick. Goddard. And Polo, just 15. Just 15.
15.2.
Just winning a lot of contested ball at the present time. The Saints, their pressure was really good. The Kangaroos, 2 or 3 minutes ago, coming down the broadcast side of the ground, overused the football. The Saints have just rebounded really well.
Glove with the fingers cut out. His first deliberate shot at goal, strikes it nicely. Copybook.
It's an amazing start. It was all North Melbourne the first 3 or 4 minutes. They double-teamed Petrie. The ball kept coming back. You just see the sprawl down. Great pressure here from St Kilda. You're right, Jared. Just they're winning the contested ball.
Yeah.
And their ball use and their numbers around the contest. There's all St Kilda players. They're outnumbering them. That was a very short kick, but the umpire said it was enough. But they've had 7 inside 50s. St Kilda, 3 goals, 2. So everything's working for Ross and the coaching staff at the moment.
Well, they've had the last 7 inside 50s.
So Polo and Lynch back into the 22 this week. Raf Clark was dropped for Tom Ledger, but Tom Ledger a late withdrawal before the bounce. So Raf Clark back in, and he's the sub for the Saints. Stephen rolls it. Pratt tracks it. Lynch caught by Farito and gets a toe on it. Rawlings, Swallow. And need a nerve settler North. McAvoy should swallow this.
That's pressure, Dwayne.
Yep.
Pressure on the ball carrier, long bombs to effectively no one.
Well, they've got an outnumbered situation, North. They have to lower their eyes like St Kilda. St Kilda hitting any free target. North are kicking in hope to an outnumbered situation.
Peak back to Gwilt. Back to Peak. Sharing the possession fest. He's got McAvoy if he wants him as the out kick, just to get him out of trouble.
Got to have Del Santo.
So Del Santo goes and gets. Wants to come inboard. Uses some run, but no one to go to. Dawson. McAvoy. Grant. It's worked for them. Reba on the move. Good hands.
Just didn't press up hard enough, the Kangaroos.
Good Polo.
So Polo's lurking. Off some hands. Knocked down to Jones. He looked for Polo, who wasn't there anymore. Polo now hunts it down. Montagna, maybe kickable by his standards. And is that a mark? No, it's through. Schneider just over the line.
Dead set going harder at the moment, the Saints, Spud. Their work rate's about 30% higher, and their intensity at the loose ball is significantly better.
Well, contested possessions, they never tell a lie, Jared. 17 St Kilda, only the 9 for North Melbourne.
See if Scott Thompson goes to the same spot. Out wide, out of side. They've changed it up. Petrie the target this time. Pedersen from 4 deep. Couldn't take the mark. McKinley.
No one forward, no one at all.
Lindsay Thomas. Little fumble, looking around to see what he was going to do with it. And Peake taps it out.
Well, in the end, that's all he could do. Lindsay Thomas could have broken into space, but he still would have been running into a wall of some Kilda defenders who'd worked really hard to get back.
Just a poor kick by McKinley, though, wasn't it, really?
Big pack of players around this. Stolen in the end by Greenwood. Kick smothered well. Got the handball back again. Harvey thrown out after. Lucky. He dropped it and then was thrown. Just pokes it inside. Off Edwards. McKinley again. Lost it. Adams. They desperately need one. Touch play on. Petrie hears the call. Goes and goes. And that should settle their nerves.
They needed that North Melbourne. It took Brent Harvey, the captain, to identify what was going on. He went low with the kick. Edwards didn't mark it, but he sensed that outnumbered, so you've got to lower your eyes and look for an option instead of bombing the ball to Drew Petrie 2-on-3. And that's how it opened up for Petrie in the end. If we have a look at here, whether it was a free kick.
He dropped that.
Well, that was a good tackle from Grant. Yeah,
Interested in this kick though, Spud. Not that one so much because it got to its target. Zach Dawson found himself on the deck. Not sure exactly what happened. But Boomer Harvey's kick went to two North Melbourne blokes leading for the same ball, which is the problem if you've got so many like players down there.
There's no hands in the back rule when the umpire calls touched because it's not a marking contest. So different laws apply in that situation. You still can't push your man out, but you can touch his back with your hand. Greenwood gets the handball out. Goddard tracks it. McMahon was right with him. Rawlings. Farito.
Good hands.
Rawlings. McMahon. Clever. Swallow. All about the delivery now. Petrie backs back and still outmarked Dawson. He was in position C. Drew Petrie, but he was still too good.
That was just brute strength. It was incredible. Dawson had the right spot, couldn't have played it any better. And yet this bloke who's in stellar form found the ball in his hands.
9 contested marks last week. He set a modern day record in many respects. It's a stat they haven't been taking all that long. For 2 in a row. Crowd like it. Petrie loves it.
And Boomer Harvey just went up to Zach Dawson. I'm not sure what the message was, but I'm not sure it would have been overly complimentary, Spud.
no, it's no. Well, the thing we talked about pre-game, Jared, you cannot engage in body contact with Drew Petrie. He's just too strong at the moment. He's playing the top of his game. You need to lay off and then get a body spoil or a strong spoil. As soon as you engage in contact, and that was amazing because Zach Dawson should have just laid off him, hand distance apart, and then get a really aggressive spoil. But as soon as the engagement was there in the contact, it was all over for Zach.
I think Zach would be used to the ridicule by now, wouldn't he? Probably the most maligned player in the competition. He cops it from both on-field players and off-field. Rebounds.
Just having a look at Lockie Hansen at the other end of the ground, Spud. All of a sudden now he's a defender. He's knocking and bumping and jabbing little toe pokes into Nick Rewald.
Well, it's giving him a starting point, Jared. It's giving him something to focus on.
Milne had to go for the mark. Scott Thompson ran into the tackle, but his arm's free. Milne pounces. Rewald forced to prop. Hansen, clever.
Very good. He's probably had a good teacher in Scotty Thompson with all that niggling tactics. It was a good mark.
It was a good start. He's had a good start.
It wasn't a great kick to Rewald, though.
Edwards. He crashed that pack well. Milne, Stephen. Rewald wants it short. Thumped away by Hansen, who got an arm in again and goes back. Playing a good game in defence for the first time in a while. Ray beat Zeeble, gave to Quilt. Throws on the boot, not a lot home. Pratt, Rawlings, they protected each other, and Greenwood is away. Lindsay Thomas on the outer side is running. Handballs to Bastanak. Lindsay Thomas waits. Enormous amount of time. And now Petrie, 2 to beat. Fisted it down. That was as good as he could do. Got art from Fisher. Peak again. Graham.
Spud, I just followed Goddard, he ran from the closest point of the square to us to get over to that spot. And that's the unselfish running that when you're playing well, good sides do.
Armitage, Milne.
And that's what you want from your leaders, Jared. And that's what you want from the leadership group.
Takes off. Everybody was waiting to see what he'd do. He was thinking ahead. Across the face.
Well, the case for moving Daniel Pratt gets stronger and stronger by the minute. And there's Goddard. Now, he has worked 150 metres to get to that position. He's been, that was terrific stuff.
Well, that's the unrewarded work you want from your leaders. And he's had 6 disposals. He's had 3 scoring assists. So not only is he using the ball well, defensively, he's right on his game.
Wilt, third man up. Spilt the pack with a fist. Lynch. Goldstein was on his hands and knees with an injury worry. And the ball came to him. He got up and gave it to Zeeble. Gets a kick. Thomas. Well, he attacked Graham and knocked the ball and won the ball.
Here's Goddard again, working defensively. That's super play.
McMahon toes it inside 50. Wilbert. And little push. Fisher pushed over by Thomas. Inside 50. Dempster's smother has been seen as an arm slap. Bastonak's ball.
Did he have it long enough? He's paid the free kick, as he Dwayne, not the mark.
I'm not sure he held it long enough.
No, he paid the mark, guys.
Did he?
With you,
I think Sammy Fisher thought the ball was going out, Liam.
Yeah, well, play it to the umpire's whistle, they say, don't they, Spud?
I think he has paid the mark.
To cut the margin back to 4 points.
Oh,
Toast.
did it move in the air, that one, Spud.
Shane Warne would be happy with that one. The Goldstein was injured, and all of a sudden you just see he gets the injury there from Wilt.
Stephen out of side. Overheads. Wells gets away from Jones. Pops a pass. Zeeble. Held up by Gilbert.
Goldstein working. McAvoy's giving him 10, 20 metres.
Puts it up for the lead of McKinley. Get away from him. Bastonak. Another snap. Petrie front spot. Couldn't scoop it. Harvey dragged down. Didn't want to handball it. He had Cunnington there.
Yeah, it was great defence by Zach Dawson to take him out of the play, Harvey.
McAvoy, Lynch, Dawson, Dempster, Ray. Boyd took it on, and fortune favoured the brave. Out of side, Jones gets there first. Stolen by Grimer. Back into attack, North, a floater. Spare man Fisher.
Just need to work on their composure inside the forward 50 with ball use, North. They've got back into the game by working hard, winning the ball. Just that next kick inside the forward 50. Just need to polish up on it.
Sam Gilbert, game 100. It's been a rocky road the last 2 years for him. And a big milestone reached as Goldstein reaches for this. Can't mark it. And get a ball in. Goldstein also in a milestone game. Game number 50 for Goldie. Just turned 23 this week. What a future he's got.
And just going through those key matchups. Clint Jones changed the role. He's picked up Wells. Swallow's been run with by Jack Stephen, and Dempster's gone to Harvey early in the match.
I gave Jones a long time, even though he didn't really have it. Umpires today: Shane Stewart, Robert Findlay, Sean Ryan.
And one of the umpires just telling Daniel Pratt, just stop niggling Stephen Mill.
That'll be falling on deaf ears, Jared.
It's a niggle fest. Who is the most annoying out of those two, Jared, in your opinion?
Haven't got an opinion on that one.
The dead eight. Bastonak, Rawlings, Grimer, Bastonak. It's the deck, kept alive by Dempster. Peak. Harvey, well played. Adams, that's a long thump. Petrie, up. Dawson got a hand on it. Still alive, McAvoy, dragged down. Pedersen, splendid tackle. No reward, he got it up. Jones goes back again. Pedersen, here's your award. Kick the goal. Sensational.
We've got a great game on our hands here, Spud, and just really enjoying watching some of these guys develop. Pedersen has become a serious player now. That's a good contest between the full-back, full-forward, but it's the ground-level ball that was the interesting one. They had control here, the Saints, and that handball there came about because of a really good tackle, a game by Drew Petrie, and Pedersen showing he can work hard at ground level as well.
That's a goal assist for Drew Petrie.
Yep.
He contested the ball. He had to go at 3 or 4 tackles and nailed the crucial one that caused the turnover. And that's great forward play. Great forward play.
So right now, Liam, a couple of their changes are working. Pedersen has been preferred to Hansen, who's at full back. But the one that's a bit of a question mark still, Milne and Pratt.
Well, it just depends how the ball's getting in there, of course.
Peak to Reebok. Well, it's hard to stop that.
Yep.
Well, that's when they've looked really dangerous, St Kilda, is when they've been all on the move. And the ball just come out of the middle like that. You're right. I don't think a defender can do there.
But the mark's only half the story. He needs to finish one off.
Brett Peake again, just continuing to find the footy.
It's like a different man.
Hasn't he had a terrific 6 weeks?
Unbelievable. 11 disposals, Brett Peake.
Rewald, that's a horror. That's as bad a kick, and we've seen him kick some bad ones, as he's ever kicked.
Let's have a look at the ball drop. He's got the head over the ball. Yeah, it's gone up the side of the boot.
He's just way too tight at the moment.
Milne left it behind. Pratt caught high. When he gave Dempster a little one there with the elbow and got himself 50.
Yeah, that's a let-off.
That's a win for Pratt.
Oh, there's no doubting that. Ross Lyon might be happy because the ball was inside the forward 50. Now the next kick will be going inside North's forward 50.
He'll be going straight to
There's the
Drew Petrie,
elbow.
I reckon.
Milne saw the elbow, umpire Sean Ryan didn't. Pratt.
Geez, they're working hard to block for each other here, the Kangaroos.
Goldstein works hard. 55 out. Lindsay Thomas got up the chest market. And speaking of hips, Nick Rewald at one end. Lindsay Thomas, who's kicked 17 goals, 26 this year, at the other end.
What about the form of Goldstein, though? The second effort, Ruckman, and then lace out to Lindsay Thomas. That is a very good passage of play. He's in rare form, Goldstein.
You can see the seconds left on the clock. We're inside the last minute. And this is for the lead. There's a hush. Starts it nicely.
Well, Jared, we've got 2 contrasts of the styles. You've got St Kilda, who are using foot skills for marks because the marking on the stats board is 32 to St Kilda, 15 to North Melbourne. North Melbourne have had 84 disposals, 42 kicks, 42 handballs. So they're run and carry North versus St Kilda hitting any free target.
Del Santo to McAvoy, Goldstein. McAvoy, Goldstein. Both had a piece of it. Ferrito had it, lost it. Montagna gives it up. Jones. Time enough for a Saints score here. Reebok.
I think what's changed, though, Spud, is the contested ball. It's now 50-50, whereas St Kilda were dominating that early. That will generate their style to be effective.
Schneider needed to kick it then. Too late. But it's living up to all expectations here at Etihad Stadium. Twilight football, round 15. And the Saints, with a hot start, lead by 2 points, 3-4-22. North Melbourne, 3-2-20.
Roll off and a bit of pressure upfield. Thanks, man.
Thanks to Ross Lyon, St Kilda coach. Q2 underway. I've heard it called Q1 before, but we all live and learn. Goldstein dragged down. He did mention they've had 2 weeks off. They're coming off the bye. St Kilda, he gave them some time off from the club. As Rewalt just before the bounce running into Lockie Hansen. Yeah, they were allowed to train away from the club for 4 or 5 days, but they were given their own private programs during the bye week.
Really significant footage, that. It just
was.
goes to show just how much inside his own head at the moment Nick Rewald is. There was no awareness of what was around him.
It was a good play from Hansen too, Jared, because he stood there knowing that Riewoldt was a bit of a cheap shot, but Riewoldt walked into it.
Harvey lost it, was stripped. Del Santo gave it to Goddard. He was stripped. Ferrito to Harvey. Cunnington couldn't break free with it. Tough ball to be winning. Schneider rolls it. Reimer got there first. Rawlings. If it bounces kindly, he can go. It bounced okay. He's got Swallow.
Reimer knew that Rawlings was going to be there even before he got the kick.
Petrie, the jumper.
Push out.
Took McAvoy with him and then won the ball. Kicks to full forward. Pedersen. And Fisher finds the line.
Yeah, Fisher on Pedersen there, playing deep. Good spoil.
North Melbourne coming in hot. They've won their past 4. Saints coming off the bye and a loss before that against the Cats. Stephen to Del Santo to Gwilt.
And nowhere to go.
He almost turns it over. Pedersen got there to make a contest, and that's almost in the back. In fact, it is in the back. Free kick.
Yeah,
Sam Gilbert.
It was probably the perfect kick in the end from Gwilt. It's the only option he had up the ground. And it's ended up in St Kilda's hand. So the perfect percentage kick from deep in the defence.
Thompson looks around, realises it's his ball. Bounced unkindly for Gamble. Rawlings tracked it down again. Floats it. Harvey, Del Santo. Wells. Slick. Cunnington. Shrugs the tackle. Edwards.
Harvey
Petrie
working hard.
Yeah, Petrie 2 to beat. Harvey called Adams in there.
And that's the Drew Petrie factor. All the St Kilda defenders were going back to Drew, lowered their eyes. Great target.
Been a little iffy in front of goal this year, Lee Adams. 8 goals, 11. So below 50-50. From just inside 50. To give North Melbourne the lead for the first time tonight.
Very underrated player, Lee Adams. We talked to Brad Scott pre-game. He's one of those guys, it's the first pick. He plays half forward. He's a warrior. He's had the 7 disposals, a goal assist. This is great play. You see Drew Petrie on the top of screen working deep, and then they just lower their eyes there. That's a great kick there from Edwards. Had 2 options in the end, Adams and Harvey. Terrific ball movement and good connection between the forwards.
Well, you saw Farron Ray in the hole. In essence, Jason Graham needed to cover the front part and hope that if in fact he became a factor, Lee Adams, that Farron Ray was going to be able to push up. So we got done on the double back.
A little bit of pushing and shoving behind play again. Hansen and Riewoldt. Wobbly bounce. Goldstein made it his. Adams, the goal scorer, just in off the square. Montagna left it behind. Wells doesn't. 2 attacking 50. Fisher. Spare man. Dempster. A little help from Edwards. Sees it out. Here is the Riewoldt. Hansen again. Oh! That was uncommon.
Not happy there. The old leader, the buttocks.
Could draw points. Swallow. Holding. It'll be. And 50. It'll be a North Melbourne shot. It was going to be Harvey's free. But because the kick went inside 50, it's going to be a shot from 35. 50-metre penalty added to it. The boos for Brent Harvey. The Saints fans are getting a little restless. They kicked the first 3 goals of this game. North Melbourne has since kicked the past 4. Riewoldt's getting frustrated at the other end. He's had his fair share of shots. He hasn't been able to rise to the moment. Brent Harvey normally does. And he does again. He's a superstar. 10-point lead, North Melbourne.
Very good fight back, Spud. They got well beaten at the start, the Kangaroos, but the fight back has been solid.
Well, you've got one captain that you know is just going to kick the goal, Brent Harvey, and you've got Nick Riewoldt up the other end, who's winning the ball, but everyone's unsure, no more than himself. And that's the difference in the game at the moment. they're kicking the kickable goal, as we see the free kick down the ground after Swallow kicked the ball. And that's the correct decision from the umpire in the end, but takes every opportunity, Brent Harvey.
Well, he's facing a real crisis. Is Nick Riewoldt. His greatest opponent right now would appear to be himself. I've never seen him do the sort of stuff that we just saw, and he's obviously struggling with his goal kicking.
Goddard went hard, left it behind. Wells caught, dispossessed by Jones. Fisher came up with it, gave to Del Santo, to Goddard. Riewoldt, here's your moment. Hands in the back.
Oh, you can see Nick. I was just about to say that's the best way to defuse any situation is mark the ball and kick a goal. But unfortunately, put hands in the back.
Goldstein. Now Rawlings is down in that contest, and he looks hurt. I'll show you the Riewoldt incident again. It may have been two motions, the push and then the mark, rather than hands in the back. And have another look, but Hansen goes for this. And he's playing an inspired game right now. Dragged down, took on the tackler a little. Lucky.
I didn't mind it, Dwayne. I didn't mind that. Let's have a look at the Riewoldt hands in the back.
Yeah, touched it.
Yeah, it was there. But that was great play from Hansen, taking the tackle on. I didn't mind that, Dwayne. He had nowhere to go, so he gained momentum. That's good positive play from Hansen.
Pasternak, whether he had prior opportunity by taking on the tackler. Dragged down. Rolled out. Jones. Scott Thompson spent that before he'd earned it. Gets the kick away. Petrie with a tough gather. Lindsay Thomas has the speed. Gets there. Can't keep it alive.
I think it's a win, though, Dwayne. It was 2-on-1.
Yep. Here's Brady Rawlings injured in this.
Oh, that'll hurt. Corky. Needed a try.
Goldstein one up and down to Stephen. Goddard. Lynch.
He's playing okay, Tom Lynch. He's at the 9 disposal. He's the hit-up target around the half-forward line.
Back into the team this week. Stephen again. Fisher the target. McKinley got a touch on it. Fisher outread him in the end. Riewoldt. This is a mark. Now he's got to kick the goal. To the booze. At the North Melbourne end.
Well, I think mentally he preferred his shot because he's probably not expected to kick it. He'd rather this one at the moment than 20 metres directly in front.
He kicked 14 goals against North Melbourne last year. 7 in their first encounter, 7 in their second encounter. That's another shank. It's just not the same Nick Riewoldt.
There's just no depth in that kick at all.
I'd rather see him kick off 2 or 3 paces if he's playing on at the moment. It's such a brilliant field kick. It's ridiculous that he's having these problems.
McMahon. Petrie's his target. 2 to beat. Contest. Dawson went to ground. Petrie picked it. Greenwood went inboard. Stephen. Goddard. Brought up just in time. Gilbert tried to make something of it. Dempster. Fisher. Caught by McKinley. Holding the ball.
Yeah, it's a great tackle.
They are a fantastic team to watch right now, North Melbourne. Win tonight, they're in the 8.
Get under that one, Drew Petrie.
He got bumped. He couldn't go at it. No free.
Boys.
Gee, that was tough. But the Saints need a break. Goddard wide to Stephen, who's working hard. Zeeble just overcommitted there. Montagna pops it. Armitage, Ray, Fisher, Riewoldt is working hard into the space. He has to kick it from there.
He might have looked at playing on there, Dwayne. I'm glad he didn't. Just 2 or 3 steps. Doesn't need the big long run up.
We talk about his kicking, but he has actually taken 7 marks already in this game, Nick Riewoldt, so his work rate's up.
There's nothing wrong with his work rate.
There's nothing wrong with his work rate, Lee, but he's going at 17% by foot.
Yeah, that sort of hurts a little bit.
It does, a lot.
Hallelujah.
That helps.
3-point game.
But if you keep having enough shots, eventually something's going to work for you. And you just have a look at the work rate here of Nick Riewoldt. It's a great build-up. And He just turned the North Melbourne defender there and Thompson far too easily. What he had to do when he was about 45 out is keep him up the ground. Bumper bar and use your body to keep him up. As soon as he turned, Thompson was in all sorts of strife.
What's been a real win for St Kilda, though, Spud, and you focused on it before the game, is getting this bloke to get possessions closer to goal. He's been significant in his work rate and his possession rate in the last month, but he hasn't kicked a goal in 3 of the last 4 weeks because he's getting all his possessions outside the forward 50, but they've certainly changed that.
I like it. I think it's good coaching from Ross Lyon too.
Zeeble going nowhere.
What's of interest, though, is the change of opponent. Why have they moved Lockie Hansen away from Nick Riewoldt?
Well, I think Scotty said pre-game he was going to rotate.
Hansen's having a rest, so given Nick Riewoldt's work rate, giving Hansen a rest right now, probably not a bad move. Peak, Del Santo, Gilbert, science his way through, Holo, Montagna. And Schneider wasn't really intended for him, but he made it his. And this becomes a massive kick. This is for the lead again for the Saints in a seesawing battle. Schneider is a goal kicker.
Hasn't had much of the footy today. Been well held. Just a couple of kicks, a couple of handballs.
12 goals, 7 this year. From the paint. Strikes it well. It's sailing. And the Saints are back in front.
No, it's a great game of football. I just get a feeling it's going to be like this all night. It's just going to ebb and flow. The pressure builds. Whichever side dominates around the contested possession. St Kilda extra numbers again. That's terrific. Handball receiving. Great protection from Peak to Gilbert. And again, just putting the ball out to the open side, and Montagna lowers his eyes. That was the key there, because Riewoldt was double teamed and he could just wield Schneider onto that kick.
Well, it's 9 marks inside 50 St Kilda, only 4 North Melbourne. So when they get it in there, they look pretty dangerous.
Well, they've made a change. They got whacked at last centre clearance, so Pedersen's come from the ground, who was just in the ruck temporarily, and their main man back out there.
Goldstein and McAvoy. McAvoy wins it. Dalcedo missed his boot. Cunnington back into the circle. Mauled. Stephen. Swallow. Throws it away. Greenwood finds some space. Bastanak run down from behind. Just got a kick away in time. Edwards, did he have prior? Got it up to Wells. Slapped on by McKinley. Goldstein over to Edwards. Gives it up to Wells. Puts the afterburners on. Adams from 30 out. Amazing goal. Well created. And North Melbourne hit the lead again.
Well, this time they got the centre clearance. It was more by bullocking and hard work rather than anything that Todd Goldstein achieved. But at the finish spot, I think the Boomer Harvey licence came out here because the handball over the top was ignored to Drew Petrie. This is brilliant stuff from Daniel Wells, though. And Petrie just happy to see it sail straight over the top.
The run and carry of North again. Picker said 9 marks for St Kilda inside their forward 50, but North Melbourne, they're winning the ball inside their forward 50. They've had 16 disposals in there, and they're running it through.
And the move's been made. I know pre-game they thought about rotating, but Lockie Hansen was doing a pretty good job on Nick Riewoldt, and he's back on him, which I think is good coaching. Abandon anything pre-set if it's the other things working.
Pasternak getting a bit of it. Edwards had thumped this long. Petrie's lurking. Goes back of the pack. Ball bounced unkindly for Thomas. Dawson slapped it down. Fisher needed to be precise and was. McAvoy. Schneider. Del Santo. Gamble. To Del Santo. Keeps it low to Peak. Coming off an outstanding opening term. Possession number 13 for him. To Gamble. Now Riewoldt peels back to goal. Lynch is down there as well. Ferrito got a fist on it. He backed back. Knew he was in trouble. Puts
Great
it out of
spoil.
play.
Now that's a fantastic spoil from Ferrito. Looked like Lynch was going to take the mark. Terrific spoil.
Ball eludes both ruckmen. Armitage gets a snap. Not 15, you heard. Massive players around it. Cunnington, Swallow, Rawlings, Ferrito. Petrie the target. Dawson with him. Petrie too good. Open space ahead. Lindsay Thomas running hard. Petrie takes them on. Goes with a tumbler. Thomas, Graham wants the boundary. Thomas found it for him.
Exactly what Drew Petrie was chasing, I think, Spud. When the tumbler came out, the boundary was the objective.
Good percentage play. Graham's doing a very good job on Lindsay Thomas at the moment.
Polo caught, dispossessed. Dangerous place to lose it. Free kick north. Harvey's pulled a free again. Saints fans thought he ducked a little. Got one high. Maybe just beyond his range.
Seen him kick torps from here. Would you licence him for a torp, Spud?
Oh, he's just having a look at Goddard there. That's bad news from Kilda. I know Pickers will be all right. I'd let him have a go at Jared.
Goes just inside 50 to Mr. Sharpshooter, Mr. Automatic, Aaron Edwards.
This is a really weird one. Goddard went onto the ground to get back onto the ground and in about 10 yards and then stopped, propped, and now he's got a crook nose, so I'm not sure what he's done to it.
24 goals 2 this year, which is incredible. It's coming back, and it's marked on the line.
Oh, inexcusable.
No. They're behind.
Now, he's disappeared down the rooms, Brendan Goddard, which is not good news for St Kilda, because he was working into the game pretty well this quarter.
Schneider. Every Saint fan breathes a sigh of relief there. Gilbert. Schneider. 18 minutes gone, second term. 3 lead changes already. Wants to run it out. Gilbert under some pressure. Petrie cut him down. Lynch. Scott Thompson with the fist. McAvoy. Goldstein trapped it. Knocked it down. Montagna back. Fisher. Montagna takes it out. Good crowd in to watch this. Critical battle. 10th and 13th on the AFL ladder coming in. North Melbourne, a spot in the 8 is theirs if they win. Harvey. Thompson. Keeps it low. Couldn't find a target. Dawson elects to take it out.
There's Goddard running on.
Yep.
And from what Pickers tells us,
Yeah. He's only taken about 5 steps.
It's like his knee locked.
you'd reckon he's obviously damaged it prior to that coming off the ground. He may have had a little cartilage nick and it's jammed in the joint. We saw one yesterday over in Perth.
Lindsay Thomas, outstanding there. Bounces it inside 50, and that's a win for North Melbourne.
Well, that didn't look good at all for Brendan Goddard. The way he just stopped there, Jared.
No, it's a really mystifying one.
Thomas thought he deserved the free.
Now he's back out here.
And that's a
now.
push. That is a free. And it's going to St Kilda players' way. Polo gets to his feet as we watch Goddard in distress.
It's a really interesting battle, Spud. The two ruckmen, they're, I reckon, breaking 50-50 even at this stage.
Goldstein got hands on it. Couldn't bring it down.
The hit outs are just in North Melbourne's favour. 19-12. So Goldstein probably having more hit outs, but McAvoy's holding his own around the ground.
Goldstein again with the palm down. Little roller from Montagna, missed the target. Bastanak to Zeeble. Coming off the best game of his career last week. So he's in form as well. Greenwood, he ran into a high one, no free. Edwards to Swallow. There's a free kick off the ball, and it's going to Lindsay Thomas. Well, he claimed he deserved one moment to go, Lindsay Thomas. So they're just working out where they're going to play it, whether it was to the advantage of North Melbourne to play it a little closer to goal.
Oh, yeah, just on the top left.
It's behind the post. What about hit-outs to advantage, Spud, between these two ruckmen?
So that's Swallows' ball, by the way, boys. He was closer to goal, better angle, and nails it. North back out by 10.
Great kick. A good finisher. He's a good everything, actually, Andrew Swallow. And whilst he hasn't been absolutely dominant so far today, that's a good start. Top left,
definitely a free kick.
Poleaxe from behind.
Yeah.
Good work by the umpire.
But again, the difference in the end is nothing in this game. Both had 10 shots. One side's kicked 7 goals, 3. The other side, 5 goals, 5. That's all that's in this game of footy. But the hit-out's advantage, very even. Goldstein 2, McAvoy 1. So they're nullifying each other at the moment, the two big giants.
Equals the biggest lead North Melbourne has had tonight. And the ball up. Jones tried to strip it. Polo does, gave to Ray. To half forward, Stephen. Had to motor and got there.
In many ways, I reckon that's a win as the Saints.
Yeah.
McAvoy, I think, if he could go off 50-50, Ross Lyon would be wrapped.
Montagna towards Revolt. There's a pluck.
Well, that was that great 2-on-1. Thompson was coming back to the flight of the ball. Hanson was on Rewalt. He was meeting the sandwich, and he just a magnificent contested mark.
Well, he is the key. I mentioned 14 goals in 2 games against North Melbourne last year. He was best on ground in the first win, 3 Brownlow votes. But the 2 Brownlow votes the second time with a 7-goal game. They were massive wins by the Saints too. 104 points and 52 points. He keeps it low and he could be back. He's got 2.
I don't want to be a party pooper, but I mean, if the umpire was consistent there and he saw it, looked like a push in the back from here. I'm not sure what the replay is going to show up, but you're right, Spud. It was a great contested mark, but gee, you just get dead set pushed out Lockie Hanson for mine.
There was no hands in the back though, but it was a push. I'll agree with that. I think what happened was Thompson coming back probably made the umpire saying there's a lot going on, but more importantly, he's taken 5 marks inside the forward 50.
I think more importantly, he's kicked the last 2. He'd be feeling on top of the world again.
4-point game. 23 minutes gone, second term. Stephen. No prior opportunity. Ball up.
Another good game, Jack Stephen. The last 5 weeks, he's been averaging 24 disposals. He's leading the contested possessions and the clearances, Jack Stephen, for St Kilda.
He's got 13 possessions right now. Cunnington holding the ball.
He's got 13, but the key figure for him is that Swallows only got 7.
Del Santo, well, Gamble went one-handed. Not sure that goes to script. Pedersen didn't go to script either. Got one too high from Lynch. Play on advantage. Bastanak long. Swallow knocked away by Polo. Gwilt backtracks. Not a lot to go to. Realises that now. Makes it somebody else's problem. Bounced it to Gamble. Spent it before he'd earned it. Goes back to mop up his own mess. Over it. Caught. Played for the free. How will the umpire read this?
A lot of pressure in there.
He let it go an enormous amount of time and Zeeble runs it over.
Tough in the clinches there, Liam Pickering, just in front of you.
Yeah, I'm really going to get a possession there, Spud, but very, very hard at the footy, both sides at the moment. Pretty important part of the game.
Short throw in. McMahon thumped it forward. Polo almost caught by Swallow. Got it up just in time. Jones. Graham Gwilt. Dangerous kick. Could be a horrendous kick. McKinley went for the chest mark, strangely enough. Dawson knocks it away. Stephen. Gilbert. Schneider. Peake. Rewalt wants it long. Peake goes back with a handball. Rewalt not happy. Should have got it in there. Schneider dragged down. Half ducked into it. Ball up.
Ben McKinley, you've just got to put your hands in the air. He's tried to mark, as you said, Dwayne, on the chest. He extends the arms and turns his body. He takes a contested mark there.
Back into the team this week, Ben McKinley, after 5 goals in the VFL last week. Just his second game for North Melbourne. Swallow. Wells. Petrie. Almost. Dawson. Fisher. Petrie fighting on hard. Kept that one alive. Dawson. Gwilt. Caught by Swallow. Too high. Crowd right into this contest. 4 points the margin. They're oohing and ahhing with every possession.
Boomer Harvey's off the ground at the present time, so Jack Stephen has actually been released. Dempster's gone over onto Swallow.
Polo, Jones, Goddard. And it all opens up. No one to go too long. Rewalt feeding back now. Graham, Peak. Rewalt still long. Peak goes short as Rewalt. He fed back to him. He fooled everyone. 1 minute was going to the square, and next minute turned around and came straight back at the kicker.
That was innate from Nick Rewalt. That is impossible to teach. His work rate to get the space to open up to lead back into was unbelievable. That's a big motor. You can see why Grimer, Thompson and Hansen are all having a turn on Nick. He was just running him off their legs.
And every kick at goal in this game gets bigger and bigger. This is the 3 for the quarter for Nick Rewalt.
Well done.
It's a different man all of a sudden. St Kilda back in front.
Well, he's on his average against the Kangaroos. He's chasing another 7. Maybe he's looking for a personal best, but he's the reason that they're back in front. With 3 second quarter goals, Dwayne.
Outstanding.
And this is a really good kick from Brett Peak. He could have gone to the top of the square, but it had a bit of polish on it, that kick. It just got over the top of a Kangaroo's hand and set Nick Rewalt up again.
Brett Peak, Jared, 15 disposals, 10 kicks, 100% by foot. That's a big improvement in his game.
Yep.
I know he's getting a lot of the ball, but it's his finishing that's really helping St Kilda.
Huge 2 minutes coming up to half-time. Crowd on the edge of their seats. Montagna, kick smothered, gets a secondary kick. Schneider, splendid hands. Yep. Lesson for McKinley. Goddard, he loads up from 51. Oh, that'll bring the house down.
Well, all the stars have come to play. You see the St Kilda supporters. Rewalt, Goddard looked cooked about 10 minutes ago, and then he's come back out. I'm not sure what happened in the rooms, but he's just come out and gone bang. But it's just that ability to hit that target, the quick kick out of the forward half, and Schneider's great awareness because Rewalt was double teamed. He's on fire, and you just have a look at Goddard. I'm not sure whether the North Melbourne player could have smothered on that. I think he just half played off. Let's have another look from another angle. There's Goddard kicking the ball. Cunnington could have thrown himself on the boot there.
Looked like almost a corralling attempt, but
yeah. I think he's
that close to goal. You've got to get in the smother position, and Brad Scott will be wondering what has gone on here, because they had not control, but they're certainly in front about 5 minutes ago.
Stephen, while they're hot, get it to half forward. Dalsanto, Montagna, turnover, Grimer trying to get it out of the area. McAvoy pumps it. Tough ball to be gathering. Hansen had it, lost it. Lynch rolls it towards goal. Amazing. Kicks his first goal in AFL footy in extraordinary fashion.
It's just a result of the pressure up in that forward line. A couple of mongrel kicks from the Kangaroos. They've just lost their composure in defence at this present stage, the last 5 or 6 minutes. There's the kick again. He needs to improve on that area. Grimer, I should say. There's a couple of times now he's given it straight back, and Tommy Lynch in the right spot. Some think he should be pushed into the middle of the ground to utilise the big engine that he's got. He hasn't got enormous speed, but he'd be pleased to get number 1 away.
Well, the work rate he's shown in the first half, he deserved that goal. He's been working up the ground. He's had 11 disposals. He's a great foil for Nick Rewalt at the moment.
Just his second game for this year, third game overall for Lynch. Having an impact. Goldstein's kick wide. Down to a minute. And the Saints have been scorching in the last 3 minutes. Gilbert caught, just got a kick away. Fisher, half forward, Scott Thompson. So I hope you heard all that at home. It's against Brent Harvey, off the ball, Saints free kick, and they could score from it. And 50, they will score from it.
Well, this is, the wheel has turned, unbelievably so, but that's just unprofessional.
Well, Jack's got his hands in the air. He was about 5 metres short of the mark. You can't then intercept the ball.
What a minute and a half for Tom Lynch. Just kicked his first goal in AFL footy. Gets a chance to make it 2 in a row and push this lead out to 20 points. That's what he has ahead of him. What composure. Act your age.
Fantastic. Stuart Lowe coaches former St Kilda champion, Haileybury College, and Tommy Lynch was one of the players that come through that program. Remember with the second 50, there's Zeeble. Yep, it's 50 metres. You've got to be more than 10 metres away from the kicker. You could see what he was trying to do, but he was too close to the man when he kicked the ball. It's as simple as that.
Just exemplifies what's happened in this match. Last 6 or 7 minutes, they've lost the plot. They've lost concentration. The Kangaroos, cheap shots off the ball. Boom Harvey gives away a free kick. Jack runs across the mark. Mungrel kicks out of defence. It's just all turned a bit sour for them in the space of 7 minutes.
The Saints fans will be happy. The youngest player in their team tonight, kicking the last 2 goals. Good sign for the future. Big second half coming up. Right now, 20-point margin. 15 seconds left on the clock. Ball up.
Has improved, has Tommy Lynch. He's now got 2 players on him in defence, but he's hot.
He's the go-to player.
Clearance important here. Adams almost, Zeeble almost, Wells almost stole it. It'll be an in-the-back free. Now, he's called time off the umpire, so time enough for Zeeble to bang this in for a mark. Gives it some sky. Petrie jumps 4 deep. Siren sounds. Massive finish to the second term by the Saints. North Melbourne opened up a 10-point lead as we headed into time on in that second term. And from then on, it was all St Kilda. Nick Rewalt, 3 goals for the term after a horrendous kicking display in the opening quarter. And as you saw, Tom Lynch kicking his first 2 goals in AFL footy. 10-5-65, plays 7-3-45. North Melbourne win tonight. They're back in the 8.
When he gets it out of the centre, they generally score. Well, they score on 50% of the occasion, so they need a huge lift out of Jack, the Kangas.
Second half underway. Goldstein with the initial knock.
Especially the fact that he's playing on Del Sano. Del Sano's had 13 himself, so it's okay if you're not getting much of the ball as long as your direct opponent is not.
Saints have got one of their mids that could lift as well. Armitage, he can't get near it as well. Just a couple of touches.
Couple of stalemates to start this third term.
Interesting, Swallow's gone on to Montagna, so Brad Scott has tried to take control of some of these midfield matchups.
Harvey, Rawlings, Wells, Adams. Melbourne, a few possessions, getting a few touches. Rawlings again. Had the momentum in the second term and then gave it all away. Rawlings toward Petrie. Got hands on it. Buffeted off it was Edwards. Petrie had it, lost it again. Fisher over it. They've got him. He didn't knock it out. Umpire a little blindsided. Gone.
It's important Edwards gets into the game. Even hitting the scoreboard, because a lot's dependent on this guy, Drew Petrie.
He's got 3 to beat. Can't beat them all, McAvoy.
Well, they've got to get smarter here, the Kangaroos. The Saints are tailing them up just because Petrie's been so dominant, and they keep going to him.
Gamble takes his chances with Armitage. Loses out. As Jared said, needs to get into it for Ito to Wells. Keeps it low. Siebel dives and marks. Is he within range?
It's a better kick. Just lower your eyes.
Given some space. Cranks up. It's way wide. Just scores.
It's all about options. St Kilda have got it in spades. They've had Rewalt with 3, Tom Lynch 2, Milne 2. So they're desperate to get someone to help Drew Petrie down there. McKinley or Edwards. It's important that they hit the scoreboard.
Del Santo told to go. Play on. Fisher ball thumped away by Thompson.
And the positive for St Kilda, they've only kicked 100 points twice this year. Half time, they're well on the way to their third 100-pointer. So they've really been pleased in the way they've hit the scoreboard.
Goldstein took it out of the air. Didn't look like a real handball. Umpire gave him benefit of the doubt, but not there for Siebel. Fell on it. Montagna. Haven't wanted to go wide all game, the Saints. They've wanted the corridor. Schneider, Fisher, again, didn't really want to go out wide. Wilt, no choice in the end. Gilbert. Pratt, Milne. It's been a good battle. Milne wins. Had a quiet second term. Kicked 2 goals in the opener. Takes on and beats Pratt from 45. Wobbles one. Offline. You just never know what you're going to get from Stephen Milne.
It was a great effort, the one-on-one, to out-position Daniel Pratt, who you'd reckon was stronger than him. Then he gave him another half chance, but it was a kick, actually, that let him down.
Thompson to Rawlings. Floats it up to Petrie. Again, 2 to beat. Good contest. Ball in.
Hansen back in the forward line, Spud.
Well, it's interesting. I think they're just looking for options, Jared, because St Kilda, no doubt, they're going to roll Goddard back from the midfield. Sammy Gilbert to double team Petrie. So Brad Scott looking for options.
Pedersen in defence now. Bangs that long. Little hand on the back from Dawson. Finally gets himself a break. He probably deserves one too. The footy gods have been unkind to him over time.
Well, Gwilt is Petrie's man, and he's starting to run. In fact, the whole half back line, I think, has been running brilliantly in this first 10 minutes of the third quarter.
Links to Rewalt, centering kick. Didn't find the target. Gamble.
Jeez, that looked out.
Tracked it down, kept it in, according to the boundary umpire. Graham knocked away from him. Adams. Nowhere to go.
Down too.
Yeah, Siebel looks hurt. Short pass to Swallow. Siebel slowly getting to his feet. A little wobbly.
Win. Let's have a look at the Zach Dawson. Was it a mark or hands in the back? Good contest.
Play on.
Play on. Right, good decision.
Montagna kick smothered. Hacked out of the area by Cunnington. Touched. Slapped down. Goddard, Del Santo. Perfection. Montagna.
It's just that ball use. Forward to the centre. St Kilda have been a hell of a lot better going forward. They've lowered their eyes beautifully.
Gee, it's an important couple of minutes for the Kangaroos. They just look like they could unravel here at the present time. They haven't bounced out of the blocks, Spud, like you'd expect, and the Saints have been running better from half-back and setting up some opportunities.
Just to emphasise your point, this is for the biggest lead of the game. 26 points. It won't be a goal. It's across the face. Rebound. Used hands. Free kick. Pedersen. With a mixed bag for Nick Rewalt tonight. Again, sits it up for Petrie, who goes early. He was pushed into it, according to the umpire. That's why he went early. Zach Dawson pleads his innocence.
The real worry was 2-on-1 again.
I don't think anybody pleads their innocence better than Zach Dawson. He's just got that look.
But you've got to plead your case as a defender.
I understand that.
When all else fails, Jared.
He does it better than most.
Grimer to Pedersen. Danger. Lynch. 2 goals in the second term. Tries for Schneider. Missed him. Wrapped up. Pratt kept the ball in the area. Grimer barreled over. Pratt didn't want to drag it in. Was cautious. Ball comes out. Greenwood dragged down. Gamble. That's a wrestling hold. Gone.
Oh, great pressure.
He tried to bump his way out of that. And even still, he didn't make any attempt whatsoever.
Well, started the quarter really well. They've had 5 inside 50s to 2, St Kilda. They're pressing.
Kangaroo's disappointing right now.
Well, it was a bit of a let-off early because Tommy Lynch was 45 out. I can see what he's trying to do. He should have went for goal. He's already kicked 2, but he tried to bring Schneider into the game.
For a 26-point margin. 7 minutes in, third term. On the button.
Let's have a look at the Tommy Lynch entry. I thought he had the ball about 45 out. It was another turnover. Yeah, go for goal. Let's open up. You can see what he's trying to do. He made a mistake by playing team football. I think Ross Lyon will show him that during the week. But when you see an open goal line, you've kicked 2 yourself and you're 45 out. But have a look at the pressure here. Forward line tackles that result in shots at goal are like gold. And that is a magnificent passage of play. The forward pressure from Gamble there resulted in a goal. His first goal for the game.
I'm not sure how Greenwood was supposed to get a handball and knock that ball out then when he was on his neck.
It comes down to Pedersen. His effort to control the ball looked like he just finished a marathon. There's no effort at all.
Stephen gave that up to Swallow to Zeeble. Just inside 50, Lockie Hansen.
Well, it's important he kicks this because they allowed Hansen to have that mark because Gilbert and Fisher are triple teaming Petrie with Dawson at the moment. So he needs to kick this to force one of the St Kilda defenders to be accountable.
You never know what you're going to get with Lockie Hansen either. Here's the Lockie dip. Splendid kick.
Brad Scott needed that, Jared.
He did. It's what they should have had earlier in the piece. Everyone coming into the match knew they were going to try and double team Drew Petrie, and yet they've continued to blast it away to him. And herein lies Brad Scott. He'll be showing this is the lesson, fellas. There's 2 blokes down the back there, so one has to be free, and it's Lockie Dip, as Dwayne calls him.
And you'd see in that passage of play, you had Gilbert and Sam Fisher guarding space in front of Petrie. So that surely has to be a positive for North Melbourne players to identify any other free target inside their forward 50 other than the big number 20.
You surprised at the change, Hansen forward and Pedersen back onto Rewald?
No, I am. I think it's the fact is they're trying to get another target to help Drew more than because I think he's been okay on Rewald. A lot of the kicks have been laced out, but I think it's the forward targets.
Schneider playing in front. Rewald, he's on the move. Not a bad pass. He's up. Had hands on it. Couldn't quite complete it. Pete gives it to him. Centering kick or shot. It's across the face. It was kind of neither.
Good effort from Peters in the end. It looked like Rewald was going to take another mark inside the forward 50. And just a desperate lunge in the end.
Again, though, the St Kilda forwards in front, they've played in front all day and they've done it really well.
Yeah, Snyder, the last one, he just read it much better than Ferrito.
Stephen dived in, tried to pull a free. Umpire was wise to it. Good spot for a ball up for the Saints. Too far out for North Melbourne to try and knock it through. Massive players around the ball up as well. Zeeble hacks it clear. Half barrel. Tough one to mark. Hansen breaks free. Open forward line. Thomas has got McKinley running hard. McKinley peels back. He's got 2 to beat. Goes at it. Tough ball to grab. Gilbert got back. Gave to Quill. Saints out of danger. Maybe temporary. Hansen trying to make a contest. Good pass. Fisher made the ground to get there.
Well, they didn't do it well, the Kangaroos, unfortunately for their supporters. In Danny, they had it all set up, and Thomas just took a little bit too long to get a forward to McKinley.
Peake and Goddard with a 1-2. And now the launch in the Rewalt direction. Milne back of the pack. Pedersen stopped it from going back of the pack. Rawlings lays a splendid tackle. Ball knocked free. Ray attacks it. Del Santo shoots it back again. Stephen kept it low. Cunnington.
It was a bad option. Rewalt had a mismatch on top of the goal square at McMahon.
Oh, that is barely 50. That is harsh.
I think Cunnington made it look worse than it was too. He's taken the, Thompson, he's taken the mark and he's trying to get around. There wasn't a lot of body pressure to go to ground. He's a big, strong defender, Scotty. I know he wore the 50, so he's...
Wells. Fisher cut it off. Hansen steals it back. Hamill missed the target.
Footy goes, man.
Stephen Dixon goes. Well, where else would they be? Twilight footy. And this could be the biggest result of the round. I know the loss of Geelong this weekend has been massive, but the Saints season almost comes down to this. Wilt.
Well, they had a huge lift, the Kangaroos, out of their big names in the middle of the ground. They're just not getting the footy at the present time. Daniel Wells had a couple of possessions. Harvey's had just one handball. Swallows had just one handball. They're doing a great job, the Saints.
Pasternak hasn't touched it.
Yep.
Ball to the back. Del Santo. Milne's running back to the square. Del Santo did the turn. Rewalt, gee, worked hard there. Wells came at him. Just collected the ball in time. Pedersen to Wells. Kept his feet. Missed the target with a handball attempt. Swallows slick. Rawlings just as good. Short pass horrendous. Fisher.
Well, he had 3 options to go to and he's hit the 4th one. Fisher. That is...
The counter-attack's been really poor though today, Spud.
You can't defend that kick, can you?
Their skill level just at the moment is really down.
Goddard a floater. Oh, I floated to Milne.
That's what happens though when you're on a roll. Even the mongrels hit targets.
Yeah, that turnover, you cannot defend it, especially in the middle of the ground. And you had 3 North players on their own, and Fisher was trying to guard 3 players, but he didn't have to move. Sammy Fisher.
I mean, there's a final spot on the line at the present time, and the energy coming out of the Kangaroos, I reckon, would be disappointing their coach, given what's at stake here.
He's got 2. Splits the middle. Lead back out to 26 points, and he lets them know about it.
The game's played on their terms. And Peggers, it looks like St Kilda have really done some work on their press over the break, because North look up and they're outnumbered at all times. Just see here the ball use. You know, there was a turnover, and Goddard, as you said, it wasn't his greatest kick off the boot. And we see Stephen Milne there kicking his 3rd, and that's the difference in the end, the options. Rewalt 3, Milne, Tommy Lynch.
Mentioned how important this game is to St Kilda. They win this tonight, they're 2 points only behind North Melbourne. They lose it tonight, they're 10 points behind North Melbourne.
And the spots in the bottom 2 spots in the 8 just keep on opening up, Dwayne. No one wants to close the door.
Absolutely, and North Melbourne has 8 spots tonight if it wins. But it continues to be well and truly open for all those teams outside the 8. Should the Saints get a scalp here. Adams, drop punt long. Dawson crashed the pack. McKinley needs to fire, drag down. Thomas needs to fire, kicks around the body, post.
Cannot buy a goal at the moment, Thomas. But again, they have to get that crumb there. You see, like Drew Cooper's going to have to take 10 contested marks in this last quarter and a half to win the game, but he's going to be doing it against 3 St Kilda defenders.
The difference between when St Kilda go forward, Rewalt hardly been in that position all day.
But it gets back to ball use, Pickers, doesn't it?
Oh, they've been carving the ball up by foot all day, North Melbourne, and that's why they're in the position they are.
And that's one of the reasons they've got Hansen, McKinley and Edwards rotating through, trying to give the team running downfield other options. Adams tried to burst through. Montagna kick smothered. Pratt kick smothered. Polo. Stephen. Graham. Just hurt moments ago. Trainers were out to Graham. Kick smothered across the line, and Stephen and Lindsay Thomas have a dance. .16 and a half gone, third. Goldstein. Swallow. Montagna through legs. Thompson left it behind.
Throw.
Armitage gave it up. Lynch dragged off it. No free. Umpires put the whistle away. Wells sidesteps a couple. Looks for Hanson. Off hands Jones. Manhandled. Dropped it. Adams caught. 3 have got him. Ball up. It's been an intense contest from the outset. It's lived up to expectations. Gray bangs it wide. Pratt tracks it down. Peake comes with him. Pratt through his legs. Clever. Got it to Cunnington somehow. Bumped on the kick. And the fall.
And again, that kick was forced by St Kilda having an extra. So I think the North Melbourne coaching staff need to weigh up. Do we allow that extra? Or do we have 7 forwards?
Ray.
They're pretty keen to have an extra down there helping out guard Rewald, who's currently on the bench. And big boy McAvoy is pushed forward.
But the issue is they're 4 goals behind.
Yeah.
So if the game's played at this tempo for the rest of the game, they're going to get beat by 4.
Gamble's handball wasn't to anybody. Goldstein. Rawlings bumped. Grimer. Back to Rawlings. Missed him. Harvey. Haven't seen a lot of him. Rawlings along the boundary line. Hanson bumped out of the contest. No free. Goddard comes inboard. Keeps it low. Well played Armitage. Bangs it inside 50. Rolling ball, North Melbourne with the numbers. Grimer almost caught by Montagna. Rawlings hacks it out of the area. McAvoy bumped. Free kick.
Yeah, you called it, Jared. And that was just preferred pressure in the end.
To an experienced player, Buddy Rawlings been one of their real stars over a long, long time, but even he fell for it. 56%. It's a lot of pressure ball.
Fisher to Goddard.
Not sure this is working for the Kangaroos either.
No, it's not.
But just allowing Goddard to play on his terms.
Jones pushed into that kick. Thump clear, dangerous spot. Rawlings needs to drag it through. Takes it across. That's a win for St Kilda.
I'll tell you why it's not working. You've got the best ball user, Free, Goddard.
Yep.
North aren't using the ball well. So if we're outnumbered already, even up your forward half, at least give your forwards a chance.
Montagna almost got the snap away. Play on, not 15 was the call. Peake spent that before he'd earned it. Greenwood, Rawlings, the 1-2. Half smothered by Rewalt. Petrie came at it. Dawson was with him. McKinley keeps it alive. Petrie can go. No one to go to.
Well, he's got to kick it to Goddard.
Puts it up high. Edwards has got 2 to beat. Made a contest. Thomas, he's got 3 to beat. Made a contest. Edwards caught, pushing it back. North Melbourne get a break.
Well, he get a break. Goddard's had 6 disposals this quarter. Why did Petrie hesitate? He looked up and saw Brendan Goddard on his own.
A quiet night at the office for Aaron Edwards.
Good kick.
Cunnington didn't like his chances. Wanted to pass it. Sits it up to Goldstein. Well, he had the reach on Schneider. Forced to go back and crumb it. Rewalt comes at him. Oh, he takes on Rewalt. An interchange breach.
Looks like it's against North Melbourne too.
The drama continues. St Kilda's ball where it was plus 50. This will take them to just outside scoring range, and Brad Scott,
he can't believe it.
McAvoy keeps it low. Rewalt couldn't get there for the contest. Stephen off hands, can't get there quick enough either. Pratt first. Ferrito dragged down. Did he dispose of it legally? Holding the ball. There's the evener upper.
We had an opportunity to get rid of the ball. The ball goes to ground. But don't look at the forward-line pressure. Armitage, great tackle.
It's got to be ball initially.
Well, whether it was or not, when he dragged it in, he was absolutely gone, Dwayne. So whether he had prior or not is irrelevant now. The issue is North were going inside their forward 50. They had an interchange bundle, and now St Kilda have got a chance to get a match-winning lead.
Well, it's a long, long way back for St Kilda to be back as a contender for 2011. But they're showing some signs that they're about to make a run.
I think run's the appropriate word at the moment, boys. That they really are lacking run, North Melbourne. I'd be seriously considering putting Anthony on, giving him a bit of extra run, a bit of fresh legs, and maybe interchanging one of those forwards that aren't really doing a lot, whether it's McKinley or Edwards or one of those players.
Yeah, well, that was the issue coming in, whether or not they'd outsmarted themselves at selection with too many options up forward and not enough options in the running department.
McKinley in the Petrie direction. 3 to beat. Dawson, Gilbert and McAvoy were all there waiting for it. Ray heads to Gwilt. Graham. Gwilt is waiting for an option. Horrendous kick. Zeeble can pump this back. Needs to be clever with the kick. He just floats it up. It's wide. Petrie goes. And out of play is a win.
Now,
the sub's about to be used, Pickers.
Yeah, it is, but they actually subbed out Grimer. So Reebok's run him into the ground when they've been rotating. He looks pretty spent. But I like the idea of Murphy coming on because he does know how to accumulate possessions.
Fresh legs about to emerge. Zeeble out on the full. Poor option.
Where they're winning, though, and I guess it's fairly simplistic, but the matchups in the middle of the ground, St Kilda, essentially have all of works, but they've neutralised Swallow, Harvey, Zeeble and Wells. None of those 4 have had a dominant game.
I think the umpire deemed he was already out of play when he kicked it there. Montagna brought it out just in time. Del Santo, wide, Gamble, Thompson, boundary line. 26 points the margin, 23 minutes gone, third term, and the sub Liam Anthony about to emerge.
No, that's good. But we went into this game, Jerry, worrying about Rewalt getting double teamed. Well, North going forward have gone to Petrie 11 times.
Yep.
Edwards and McKinley only twice. So St Kilda know that, the defenders know.
Greenwood, fantastic contest. Goldstein, again, Petrie with 2 to beat. Buffeted it out of it, almost marked it. Lays a tackle on Gilbert, who seemed to throw that away.
Yep. But you're allowed to do that, Dwayne.
No, I think
You just get it right.
Let's say it was a direct handball, but that's the issue. That passage of play there, Dawson, Fisher, Petrie. Oh, that's a throw.
And 3 umpires missed it. Gilbert dragged down, dispossessed, still no free for North. Ray goes back. Dawson, Del Santo slides it to Ledger. Glitch, I should say. And he holds it up. Cross his defensive goal. Hanson took the arm of Fisher. Again, no free.
Well, that's support in the back half.
Stephen goes. Sends it to half forward. Pratt got back with the flight. Made the contest. Caught, dragged down. Harvey gets it up. Thompson. Zeeble. Spears that but misses the target. Graham. Some tired men out there right now. 25 minutes gone third. A floater, Wells.
This has been one of the problems for the Kangaroos. Daniel Wells has had plenty of the footy, 15 possessions, but most of them have been across that half-back line without having the figures, and we'll chase them up, but I suspect that's where the majority of them have been.
Well, you can see Goldstein on his own, 30 metres out.
It's in his direction. He's got it.
It was amazing. He was there for an eternity, Dwayne, and that's the Drew Petrie factor. I think Drew's been on fire with his contested marking, but North have just got it in their mindset at the moment. He's going to be the man to kick a winning score, but for him to get dangerous Drew, North have to use this option a lot more.
90 seconds from three-quarter time. Goldstein hits it like a sweet kiss. That could be a momentum changer.
I like it. I like it a lot. Hanson has kicked the goal. Have a look at Goldstein in the middle of the ground. All the St Kilda defenders are just assuming that they're going to go long to Drew for the bailout kick. They just need to lower their eyes and widen their vision north, and they're still in this game of football.
It was a good kick by Edwards. Just didn't put any height on the ball at all.
And McAvoy, unfortunately, was half asleep because he was thinking, OK, I'll go back to Drew. That's where the ball's going, but he lost direct accountability for Goldstein.
Brad Scott gets the availability of Hamish McIntosh back in the side. He's wondering where they're going to play him, but you can just see Goldstein playing as the second option up forward for a fair period of time.
Plays a good spell there. Goldstein for Rito. Inside the arc. Hanson, Cunnington for Turner-Rowe. All about the bounce. Unkind.
Again, set up by Goldstein in the ruck.
Well, we know he's terrific in the ruck, but one of their issues with Petrie playing so well is that they come so predictable. If you've got another genuine marking forward there, rather than having two medium sizes in McKinlay and Edwards, balance might be a little bit better.
Goldstein up. Got hands on it, couldn't complete it. McAvoy on the deck, goes to Del Santo, to Jones. 45 seconds and counting. Back to Del Santo. Dempster. Rewalt. 70 from goal. Gamble leads from the square. Milne's down there. Rewalt long to Milne. Punch away from Thompson. And we'll get a ball in with just over 25 seconds left to three-quarter time.
He's deceptively strong, Stephen Milne. He must just use his legs really well, because a couple of times now he's been able to deal with Daniel Pratt in a one-on-one positioning battle.
Very strong through the hips. You don't gain that power off the mark, that agility, that lateral movement, by not being strong through the thighs and the hips. But a good night at the box, Ross Lyon.
A lot of footy left in this. The slap down. Swallow needed to be clever there and wasn't. Stephen got it up. They could pay a price. Armitage back. Graham, Milne trying to create something. Takes it out. And we're down to 4 seconds. Maybe time for a palm down and a snap. Certainly time for a free in the ruck. Goldstein is going to ruck it on his own. Knocks it down. Three-quarter time. Etihad Stadium. Critical round 15 clash. The Saints, one last chance to join the queue for a spot in the 8. Final term coming up after the break. 19 points the margin. 12-7. Plays 9-6.
He had 12 disposals in three quarters. Dempster's been outstanding on him as well.
If North Melbourne is to win this, they deserve to be in the 8 tonight. Final term underway. Bastanak the clearance. McKinley again couldn't mark it. Goddard pokes a handball out. Thomas wanted it more. Made it his. Wells sprints onto it. Kick smothered. Goddard got there with an arm.
That's been St Kilda's story all night. Daniel Wells worked hard, got the ball, but the defence has been... But I think you said it's back to their, I guess, the best that they generally produced over the last couple of years. It is really good.
Well, it's that frontal pressure we saw there with Goddard.
Goldstein bounced it toward goal.
And, of course, they've been able to get Rewalt one-on-one. You know, the flip side of the Drew Petrie scenario, they've gone to Rewalt 18 times and he's taken 10 marks. So it's really worked for Ross Lyon tonight in the box.
Lynch and Pete getting some work done. Clark still not used. Their sub for the Saints. Zeeble throw it out. Thomas backtrack. Rawlings. Here's the sub for North. Anthony gave it up. Pratt. Rare shot at goal for him. It's drifting to behind.
He's had the double suplex on him all night, Drew Petrie. I mean, that was just a classic picture. Drew Petrie, you could hardly see him because of red, white and black.
Well, one thing for sure, he's not going to get a mark on the lead.
No.
He's going to have to take mark of the year.
Fisher.
This is a good kick in the space.
Stephen and Ferrito.
Well, they've got what they want here, the Saints. Big group of players around the ball. If they win it, St Kilda, Rewald has won out against Pedersen.
Del Santo does win it, but doesn't quite go that far. Ferrito stood under it, front spot. Armitage slips a handball up. Montagna with a long handball. Jones, Thompson just got there before him. Wells trying to sell a pup. McMahon. And again, Edwards has to crash the pack from 4 deep. Gwilt, Crum, couldn't find the target with the handball. 3 goals the margin, 18 points.
We see Ralph Clark there. It'll be interesting whether they activate the sub tonight. Things are going well at the moment.
Ray. Goldstein dragged him down. Appeared to have Pryor there. No.
Interesting matchup, Spud on the far flank. You've got Brendan Goddard, and he's at the moment got the responsibility for McKinlay. And McKinlay's almost having to defend.
Yep.
Cunnington with smother, then the handball. Anthony inside. Hanson.
Exactly what Ryan Pickering talked about. Other options. It's a terrific kick.
Do you know the other thing there, Spud, is that I was just watching when that stoppage was there in front of us here on the centre wing, is that Sam Fisher is just standing 10 metres in front of Petrie. So they've got to be really aware of that leading player now. It's a long bomb. It's just not going to work.
You've joined us late.
Beautiful kick.
We began the night on Nick Riewoldt. Lockie Hansen pushed forward in this second half. Has a goal to his name. This to cut it back to a 2-goal margin. Across the face. Petrie tries the big jump.
Interesting vision there, Spud, of Lockie Hansen. Got up what appeared to be a cramp.
Yeah.
Now, we spent a fair bit of time on Nick Riewoldt today,
Yep.
which should tell Lockie something. He's not fit enough. If he has cramp late in this last quarter.
Gee, that was a good reach, Goldstein. He's growing by the minute as a player. McMahon. Edwards crashed it, couldn't mark it. Swallow gathers but caught. Anthony just gets the kick away. Stephen showing some poise, the Saints. Under pressure, early stages, final term. Montagna. Tried to maintain possession. Didn't work. Huntington just in time. Greenwood. A wobbler. Petrie rises. Held it a long time. Not enough. Zach Dawson. The most maligned player in the competition, doing all right now. She held that a long time.
A long time. Stiff there, for sure.
It's what Pickett's talked about. Fish is free, so Petrie has to lead wide.
Goldstein free in the run.
There's the danger man at the moment. He kicked the goal in the 3rd quarter. He started this last quarter to say, boys, come along for the ride. There's still plenty of time left in this contest.
He's been almost a freak show in the last few weeks. North record 54 hit-outs last week. Game 50 tonight, been outstanding again, a lone hand. He misses here. And that could have been a shot in the arm at the right time.
But they've got to convert, Wayne. 4 inside 50s for nothing. But they are winning the ball. 23 possessions to 11, so they're giving themselves a genuine chance, but it'll go to nothing, Spud, unless they improve their efficiency, which is down at about 1 efficient kick in 3.
Well, it's just not good enough. As you said, they're getting it in there. 36% by foot at the start of this last quarter.
Goldstein and McAvoy again. Goldstein lays the tackle on Del Santo. Brings him down. No Pryor. Saints have 9 games left after tonight. North have 8 left. North still with a bye to come in round 21. The Saints have some winnable games in the next month. This is a huge game for them as well. And North will be in the 8 tonight should they win. It'll be 5 wins in a row for them.
Well, there's all the space Nick Riewoldt's got. One-on-one. It's just an amazing amount of space the best player in the marking player in the comp can have.
Adams pokes it. Petrie can't get a run again. Off hands. McMahon.
What you're saying, Spud, is they're one fast break away from winning this match.
No doubt.
Thomas pushed into the deck. He was cheese grated. He has to get the turf out of his teeth. No free.
At least the ball's in there. We'll have another look. The hand was definitely in the back, but his body wasn't.
Yeah, I think it was a good decision. Sorry,
Yeah, it was in the end.
Goddard wins this one.
Well, it's in the best hands. Brendan Goddard. He's had a great game.
Wilt. Ray.
Push Daniel Wells forward. They know they have to kick goals to win. Jones has gone with him.
I think that's a better matchup for North Melbourne, though. I mean, Jones playing in defence, one out on Wells. That'd be a good move, I would think.
Rewalt.
Yeah, that's inexcusable. The ball was in the air a long time. Not one player come up his direct opponent to spoil Rewalt. Drew Petrie must look at that passage of play and say, what about me?
Must have only been temporary because Jones is on his bike now and he has just charged into the forward line and Wells has gone with him.
Del Santo almost waiting for Rewalt to come back at him. Honours that lead.
He wants to be activated, Raf Pickers.
He does. He actually is. Tom Lynch looks like he's got the red vest on.
Montagna to McAvoy, and he gets one back on Goldstein, and we'll have a shot.
It's been a great duel, this. It's been a very, very good duel. Both players have won a lot of the ball. Goldstein's had 15 disposals and kicked a goal. McAvoy, 16 disposals. So he's held his own today, McAvoy.
Clark and Lynch. Rewalt attacked that, went high, you'd think, on Rawlings. Swallow with the kick away. Fisher. Stephen can go back to Goddard. And he can reassess. Tries the spear pass. Zeeble got there first. Poor option. Disastrous option.
Yeah.
Schneider's ball. And they could pay full price. Rewalt's calling it back to the square. Pedersen with him.
Thompson's a spare. He's got to sit in the hole.
Goddard in front of Milne. Got an arm knock. Played for that free as well. And there's been a few forwards, small forwards like Milne and Lindsay Thomas playing for them again tonight.
Just the first spud we've seen an activation that hasn't gone effectively straight on the ground.
I think you're right, Jared. I think it is a first. Tom Lynch was a forward, so he's been subbed off. It'll be interesting to see where Raf Clark goes on the ground. You can see him limbering up in front of William Pickering. We're getting back to the styles. Again, the marks for the game. St Kilda have taken 94, North Melbourne only 39. That tells me that St Kilda are defending the kick extremely well.
Adams crunched by Hanson. He appeared to mark it.
Friendly fire too. Hanson's in trouble.
He looked as if he brought it to the ground. Both North players are down. It's 18 versus 16. Goddard spears that to half forward. Thompson got a hand on it. Knocked it down to Cunnington. Zeeble floats it wide. Hanson, Goddard. Got all the answers right now, the Saints. Peak.
Goddard just patrolling the back half.
Yeah.
He's the issue. They need to man him up.
Gwilt can take off. Rewalt calls for it wide. That lead not on it. Graham thought about going for goal. Shorts to Armitage.
Well, that's about 8 metres.
Yeah, that's no way knowing that is a mark.
That doesn't even go on the width of a mower strip.
Armitage looks guilty.
Oh, Gwilt's a long kick.
55, top of the square.
Good grab.
Had the reach, Goldstein. Harvey. Maybe he's the one to inspire them. Bastanak needs to go back. Caught. Stephen through traffic, gives it up. Gamble tried to shoot a handball to Montagna. Gets it back. McAvoy. Peak. Short.
Play on.
Surely not 15. Surely that's ball then. He had Pryor. Didn't get a kick away. Crowd going crazy. Wells in the meantime gathers and goes. Lindsay Thomas, the runner, comes at it and comes at it hard. Just inside the line. Wants to keep it in. Can't. Well played, Graham.
He's been outstanding, Graham, tonight.
Yes.
He really has defended well. I think Ross Lyon, instead of playing on the wing, there's the friendly fire between Adams and Hanson, but Ross has put Graham in a really good spot. Thomas has been extremely quiet, but only the 9 disposals.
Swallow bumped as he kicked it. Edwards. Hanson tried to get it up to him. Lays a tackle on Del Santo. McAvoy, Gwilt. Bangs it long in hope. Goddard. Harvey!
Well, it's a great contested mark from the North skipper. He's been fairly quiet, 13 disposals.
To the top of the square. Petrie almost put down. Still makes it contest. Edwards to his own advantage. Milne off the deck. Ball in.
Here's the big grab from Boomer Harvey. Hasn't been his best day, but that was his best moment.
The intensity has been there from the outset. This one well and truly up for grabs still. Del Santo dragged off it. Anthony got a handball up. Saints getting numbers back. Dempster, Del Santo rolls it along the line. North fans want deliberate. They get it.
I'd be pretty happy, the Saints, with the form of Jack Stephen right now, Spud. He's really has had a breakout season.
Oh, especially his last 6 games, including this one, Jared. He's averaging 24 disposals, lead the contested possessions.
Hanson from 4 deep. Anthony had it but lost it. Had to give it up. Edwards goes off the turf. Out on the full.
And also the clearances for Jack Stevens. So no Lenny Hayes comes out for the year. St Kilda have found another on ball. So Hayes comes back next year. Stevens will be actually a better player again.
13 goalless minutes to start this 4th term. And Gwilt pumps it out to Rewalt. Hands on it, couldn't mark it. Swallow, stripped by Schneider. Again, no free.
He's got to be dropping the ball.
Ball stripped in the tackle and they don't pay it. Peak takes them on, surely.
What was the difference between that one and the other one? Dwayne?
Yeah, they've got numbers back in front of Petrie, so they don't need a moving target here.
She Wells just puts that up in hope. Petrie can't go. He gathers anyway. Kick smothered. Del Santo, Graham, Fisher, last line of defence. He's got Montagna working hard for him. Needs to be precise. Fantastic kick.
Milne is looking to position himself for the killer blow.
Gamble. Ferrito.
Well done, Ferrito.
Good battle. Ferrito didn't really take possession. Got a kick away.
Milne's still dangerous.
Milne. He's about to pounce. He goes. Almost. McMahon knocked it away. Milne tucked into the pocket. Dragged down. Did he handle that away? Rawlings. He must have handled it. Wasn't a free. Play onto advantage regardless. Hanson pops the pass. Petrie's direction. Dawson right with him again. Knocks it away. Petrie, Dawson, they dive on it. Petrie's ball.
They're pressing North Melbourne. They've had 9 inside 50s to 5 this quarter.
Well, they got the whole of the St Kilda suburb in their back half. Even
it's 50. It's 50. He'll have the shot from about 35 out.
Well, they must have badmouthed the umpire because that's inexcusable. Petrie should be kicking the ball from 90 metres out or 80 metres out. Now it's 30 metres out. That hurts.
If this goes through, they should be thanking Scott McMahon. He knew exactly what Milne was going to do. He read him like a book, and his tackle was superb.
To make it a 2-goal game. They've had their chances. 2 shots in this final term. Both have been missed. That's a wide kick.
Well,
marked on the line by Peak.
It's the story of the night. 10 inside 50s to 5, and by foot they're going at 44%.
16 minutes gone. Final term. It won't be a long term. Hasn't been a goal scored yet. Dempster held up. Saints season on the line right here, right now. They can play their way back amongst the challengers for a spot in the 8.
Well, St Kilda just hanging on at the moment. North just can't deliver the blow.
Dawson out on the full.
I think Graham's right. Eventually, the damn wall, they're building up the sandbags, the Saints, but there's been a couple of leaks. But the only way for that to happen, turn it into a flood, is to kick a major.
Greenwald's down there in defence. Goes up, can't get it. Off hands. Adams, the snap. There's the shot in the arm.
They're willing themselves into this, Jared.
Well, the Saints have put the cue on the rack because Nick Rewell has spent the majority of the last 5 minutes in the back half. Contested possessions, they are just absolutely dominating this term. At 11-5, uncontested. And the playing account, Spud, is looking pretty healthy.
No, it isn't. We say it every time. The centre bounce is interesting because McAvoy looks like he's off the ground and looks like Gilbert is going into the ruck.
Now, this is where North need to really set it up. A quick kick in their forward line. Don't give St Kilda a chance to set up by winning the hit out on there, too.
McAvoy on the bench at the moment.
Zeba with the clearance. Edwards waited for the bounce. Comes at it now. Anthony outside of the foot. Poor kick. Ray. Panicked a bit there.
Yep. Ref Clark on the ground. So they've activated the sub, but they've actually put him on the ground, Ref Clark.
Wilt. Oh, no!
Oh, pressure builds. It's building.
That is amazing. Can Edwards find a target?
Goldstein was on.
A wobbler to the top of the square, and Gilbert's marked that. Gilbert's marked it. Oh, boy. Another disaster, almost. Montagna almost on the full. It's been a crazy last minute. 6:32 left on the clock.
Must have been inches. The banner umpire looked like the two arms were going to spread eagle throughout the full, but perhaps just before the line.
30,000 on the edge of their seats here at Etihad.
They can't get McAvoy on the ground, St Kilda. He's still on the bench, and you've got Goldstein versus Goddard or Gilbert. There's McAvoy just waiting to get on, but no St Kilda player can come off the ground to release him to get on the ground.
They really need to get hit into some space here.
10 points the margin. Del Santo gets one high. Swallow doesn't agree.
Smart move from Del Santo. Just put his head down and burrowed forward. And the Kangaroos are that desperate that they were just going to lunge at him. And they're into time wasting right here and now. Not trying to win the game from this position, Spud. They're just trying to hold on, it seems.
Gilbert, he has McAvoy now, who's just on. Heading in his direction. Another wobbler. And he's still good enough. Fresh man on.
That's a great grab. Fantastic mark from McAvoy.
Del Santo pumps it. Rewalt the target. Crunched by McMahon.
That is a courageous effort by the skipper.
Never took his eyes off the ball. That should hopefully get the St Kilda team going. Have a look at this. Eyes with the ball.
Great effort by McMahon too.
Great effort.
Off because Rewalt would have swallowed that otherwise.
Goldstein fighting on. Knocks it down. Stevens can't break free. Ball up.
Well, if anyone wonders about the courage of AFL players, Nick Rewalt never deviated there.
Ticking into time on. Final term. McAvoy, the knockdown. Jones, Wells played for it, got it.
Well, they've got a spare in defence. They're going to peel to the other side of the ground and reckon they can't afford almost to keep coming back through the crush. Too slow it's going to be. They've got to get 2 goals.
Anthony just sits it up in hope again. Petrie with 3 to beat again. Thumped away by Fisher. Almost could have marked that. Harvey got a handball out just in time. Dempster, Stephen, Ray. And it opens up, but no one to kick to. All the Saints players are back, not forward.
Well, this is exactly what the Kangaroos had to do. They've hit the fat side of the ground and they've got the space.
Fresh man on, Clark to peak. To Rewalt. Strong hands.
If I was Brad Scott, I'd be asking the question, do we put Goldstein forward and Petrie in the ruck?
It's worth a try.
Just get a bit more mobility around the ground, and Goldstein, at least they won't be able to defend off him. Just a different matchup in the forward half.
And they go back. Another 30 seconds eaten up. About down to 4.5 minutes. Clark with the stretch. Took the step. Play on. Thompson corrals him. Now comes at him. Loses him. Fresh legs win. To attacking 50. Backing back. McAvoy stands tall. Hands it off. Schneider. Run down. Ball.
Got to move it quickly, the Kangaroos, before the defence is set.
They need to switch it more. They're just going down the line. Just wheel and go.
Anthony. Petrie can't get a run at it again. Now he goes. Got hands to it, couldn't mark it. Dempster Kick half smothered. Harvey, not a lot to kick to. Forced a handball. Ball in.
Oh, it's a clever handball. He knew if that ball stayed in, two St Kilda players were going to run onto the ball. That's experience. You can't teach that. That was a magnificent, deft handball over the line from Harvey.
Game just keeps lifting a gear. Swallow, and he hit a chest. He missed Edwards. Graham got there first. Gilbert. Peak. Pratt hunts him down. Dragged him down, didn't really have it. And now he's dragged down, and he didn't have it, and he wins the free.
Still got to move it quickly.
Yep.
Now the Saints are flooding back.
Well, this is where they need to find a free target in the middle of the ground and then transfer the play around like Geelong do. Even if that means going backwards first, Jared, get that kick to go backwards and then wheel and go out the other side of the ground and transfer it inside the other forward 50.
Plenty of time left for 2 goals. 10 points the margin. 23 minutes gone. Rawlings plays on quickly. Puts it to the top of the square. Petrie goes up with 4. He was buffeted out of it, and that's a great mark, McAvoy again.
Well, that's the story of the night.
It's been like a throwback to 1985,
Yeah.
just long bombs to Snake Baker.
Yeah.
He was even earlier than 85.
Ray, and they can chew up some more time.
70s,
Yeah.
77.
No, you're right. But with Edwards,
50.
there's a 50 there. But with Edwards McKinley not hitting the scoreboard, having no impact whatsoever, the St Kilda defence has been far too easy for them just to lay off on Drew.
Will he go forward or back? Short to Clark.
Well, they need a man up now, North. It's as simple as that. They need to get a free man. This uncontested play.
Turnover. 2.5 minutes left. Can North get a goal out of this foray? Harvey needs to set it up. He had Edwards. He ignores him. He goes his own way. Short. Thomas.
And that's the first time they've changed it up. They had a small forward line there for whatever reason. Petrie was up the ground, but the midfielders became forwards, and they picked the right option. Harvey could have gone wide to Swallow, who was leading to the pocket, but he knew where the option was best, and this bloke just has to kick a goal.
What is going through his mind right now? Can he make it his moment? He's had a disastrous year in front of goal. Every picture tells the story.
Well, it's probably a bit harsh, but he's not worth his spot in the side right now. If he can't kick goals at a 60-70% ratio, then you're in a bit of trouble.
Well, that won't go in the points bracket. That's the disappointing part about it. It was actually harder to miss the goals and points than it was to kick out the full. Another 2 behinds today.
Goldstein and McAvoy again. Fisher third man up. Off hands Bastanak. Still time. Anthony, top of the square. Wilt thumps it down. Dawson can run it out. Gee, deliberate.
Oh.
That's a massive call. The footy gods hate Zach Dawson.
So is that supporter. Or he might have been giving the umpire.
Anthony.
Just kick the goal. No time for mucking around.
That's what he has ahead of him. And when you do that, you think, why didn't you take more time? Here's the free. Gee, that's harsh. 50, Clark caught high after the mark, and that should do it. 9 points the margin. They can suck the last minute off the clock if they're smart enough, the Saints.
Yeah, all he needs to do now, and the St Kilda, the North players need to know that Goddard will be behind the play and Wilt. So I'm sure he'll have a look behind.
Keeps it low. Thompson almost the mark. They don't know how long left. Drag down. Gamble. Montagna. Ball hits the deck. Zeeble tries to shuffle it out. More seconds eaten up. Down to 50. Crowd yell ball. North Melbourne's ball. They need 2 goals. Swallow back to Pedersen. Well, it's called time off 43 seconds.
Now, it's been a very, very entertaining game of football. St Kilda have deserved this victory.
McAvoy protected, and Clark dumps it out, and we're down to 29.
They've nearly had 100 more disposals, the Saints. About 120 marks.
Definitely worked the hardest for the longest.
Oh, they have. Only 45 marks for North Melbourne. It's been their defensive pressure that I've liked. Their forward press, their frontal pressure, it's been outstanding.
And as big as this result is, these two teams meet again in 8 weeks' time. That could be huge, round 23. Tackle it laid, holding the ball, Saints ball.
Such a big game for them, though, the Kangaroos, to let it slip. They've got Collingwood, Western Bulldogs in the next couple of weeks, and the Bulldogs are coming as well.
And Dalcino's game, Jared, he's been tagged, and it's been an issue for Nick. He's had 31 disposals. Zeeble, great performance.
It's a long road back for the Saints to be a contender. But they found a few breadcrumbs tonight. 12-7-79 to 10-10-70. And we haven't seen the last of St Kilda in 2011 just yet.
Those 2 weeks of preparation gone into this one, and they've killed the hoodoo with a bye as well. But they have prepared long and hard for this match, and right now they've breathed some life back into their season. And the Kangaroos will be just left wondering where it went wrong. But right now they've had wins against Port Adelaide, Essendon, Gold Coast, Adelaide, Melbourne and Port Adelaide. They're still to prove their pedigree as a top 8 side.
No, there's no doubting that. It's the ball use, Jared. They only went in 47 times. North went in 53. St Kilda used the ball better. 70% by foot. North Melbourne 57%. Too often just the bailout kick to Drew Petrie. I think Ross Lyon coached outstandingly well tonight. Nick Dalcino, one of the better players on the ground, 31. And Goddard. Those 2 guys have 30 possessions each. Very rarely do St Kilda get beat.
Liam Pickering with Nick Rewell.
I guess that's a real relief because they were coming hard in the last quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought, they're a quality side. They've been in really good form on their last 4. There was a lot on the line for both sides tonight, I suppose. You look at the log jam down towards that part of the ladder, everyone's fighting for spots. So just proud of the way the guys came out of the break. There was a bit of talk about coming out of the bye, but we had a really good week on the track and carried it over.
Yeah, I spoke to Ross Lyon at quarter time, and he was really happy with the intensity he showed early in that match.
Yeah, it's always the danger coming off the bye, I suppose, and you've seen it with other teams throughout the season. A bit lethargic in the early parts of the game, so it's pleasing that we started well.
And your forward line really structured up well in the first half in particular when the ball was zipping in there and you were taking uncontested marks.
Yeah, we turned it over, that was the key. And we had, I don't know what the number was, but we had a lot of midfield turnovers in the first half, and that allows you to get it in pretty quick and one-on-one.
Back in the last quarter when it was getting a bit tight, you were pushing back and helping out. You pretty much had everyone in the north forward line.
Oh, well, that's not uncommon for us at times, mate. That's the way footy's gone, I suppose, but I was just got to get over the line.
Well done, mate.
Nick Rewell, who turned his title around after a horrendous first term. And in theory, the Saints could get a run going. They've got Port Adelaide next week. And they've got the West Coast Eagles here at Etihad, at least it's not in Perth. And then Adelaide and the Gold Coast, a couple of teams that are also below them on the ladder. There's a bit of footy yet to be played. And in some respects, they've got a game in hand over teams above them. They've got their 2 byes out of the way. They've got 9 games left. The Saints, teams like North Melbourne only have 8 left.